Hello and welcome back. Today we have Michael in the studio. He has bought a bike second hand, which can usually be a little bit hazardous. Thinks the bike might be a little bit too small for him. Let's get to it. $2mm out. 2mm. So, just relax for us. So we're looking at internal rotation of the hip, which I'm going to say is moderately reduced. We're also going to see how you close down the hip angle, which is between the upper leg and the torso. This is looking at hip and glute flexion. 104, good. We've got 96 in the right, so quite a big difference in hip flexion there. Might represents the mainstay of the people that I have coming through here. They're men aged 35 to 60 who sit at desks. This way. Your bike's 15mm longer than mine is, and I'm 3 inches taller than you.
Yeah.
But you know, let's see how we go. I try not to jump to conclusions. So, first question is, how would you describe the weight on your hands? High, medium, or low?
I'd say good medium.
So then put it to you this way: if you took your hands off the handlebars right now, what would happen?
Okay,
good. So I guess what I'm getting at is, are you propping yourself up?
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Which muscles can you feel working in your legs?
Feel the calves.
Okay.
Yeah. Probably hamstring.
Hamstring.
Maybe.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Would you describe the saddle as comfortable?
I'm not uncomfortable, but it's yeah. After a while, it's
Of the 3 contact points, the hands, the feet, and the saddle, which are you the most aware of?
hands.
Hands.
Yeah.
Right. Jump off for us. Come out of rest. It's quite a long position, but also there's quite a lot of handlebar drop there as well. Did you, when you bought this bike, did you happen to buy it from a skinny little runt?
He's a fair bit smaller than myself. Yes. Yeah. Vertically and no. It's only about that much.
I wonder whether it's a little bit long and a little bit low. And that, in turn, is going to mean you've just got a lot of weight on the front of the bike, which is what will tend to translate to this kind of skittishness that you might be feeling. I can get a finger down between the shoe and your heel, which is not necessarily indicative of a well-fitting shoe. But, I mean, we can try on a different shoe today just because we can. Yeah. But that might be a piece of the puzzle that might need to be solved. Check this ASOS logo. It's kind of consistently going off to the left-hand side. To be honest with you, it isn't really, at the back end here, it's not the kind of the car crash that we suspected it was going to be. It's not too bad, but I do wonder whether a further crank length reduction might improve your ability to come to the top of that stroke. Right. But, I mean, having said that, that's kind of the least of our worries. Mm-hmm. I feel like as we bring that front end up and closer to you, that's going to improve your hip function as well. So it's going to improve your ability to come through the top of the stroke, which is something that you are definitely going to struggle with because of your right hip mobility. The extreme nature of the position is resulting in an over interaction with the nose and the saddle. So we've got a few bits and pieces to kind of work through. So you can see that if I slow this down to quarter speed, the knee track straight comes to the top of the stroke, opposite comes at the top of the stroke. Yeah. And this is generally as a result of feet being too close together or lack of mobility through the hips, which we know is the case for you.
And would you say, obviously, size as well is a factor there, or should you kind of still have a,
absolutely. Right. Weight of the rider, size of the rider. Bigger riders are generally predisposed to needing wider stance. Right. If to be blunt, you're not built like the intended
exactly.
User of this bike. All bicycles pretty much are designed around a 20-year-old 60-kilo athlete, which doesn't represent the end user and the individual buying them. This is kind of where we come in, because we're capable of modifying bikes to kind of help and suit an end user much better. If you look at the shape of your foot and look at the shape of that shoe, this is kind of one of the problems with a lot of cycling shoes. They tend to be designed like with legacy in mind. They're designed to kind of look good. In my opinion, most cycling shoes are designed so that they look good like that inside. So when you walk into a bike shop and go, oh, they look good, but then you try them on in a bike shop, you walk around the shop floor with no cleats on, and they feel fine, and then you go and ride a bike, and then you get pain. Stand up. Sorry, hands on there. Stand up. All right. Try again for me. Now imagine you've got a load more weight on your hands.
More weight, you say? Yes, yeah.
And now?
Yeah, a bit less, and just a bit more comfortable.
So basically what we did is by leveling the saddle, which I imagine the saddle feels more comfortable now as well.
It does, yeah.
So by leveling the saddle, it was nose up before, it resulted in all of Mike's weight being put into the front of the bike. Proving my suspicion that we've been using the nose of the saddle to kind of prop ourselves up and stop ourselves from falling into the front of the bicycle. So, get your saddles level, people.
With the feet, it feels a bit freer, I guess. Yeah.
So as we continue to increase your stance, what we're doing is we're reducing the amount of internal rotation that's required in your hips, which is why it feels freer. So we haven't even reduced the crank length yet. We've just added 10 quid's worth of pedal washers, which to be completely transparent, you can't do in the real world. I mean, you can with a look, but you can't do with like a Shimano or the Aero that you've got there.
Yeah, I mean, at the minute it's, dare I say it, a lot more comfortable. Not
bloody well, I hope so.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm clenching my toes. Definitely. Yeah, until these were in it, I sort of naturally would straight away, they would just, curl.
So you think you're able to relax a bit more now?
Yeah, exactly. And also that arch support does feel like that makes a big difference to just to the overall feeling. Yeah, I know it's slammed, racy, slightly smaller framed person's bike, but yeah, I get worried, not worried, but something I think cyclists think, well, I want a bike that's fast, and the endurance bikes I think, well, are they as quick, but then I suppose you're only as good as the person who's riding it. So.
On an almost immeasurable scale. You'll be faster on an endurance bike that fits you better than a racing bike that doesn't. Clawing with the toes is indicative of instability. It's usually as a result of the rider trying to regain some control of the foot, and by administering some arch support, Mike's no longer doing that. What we're trying to do in a cycling shoe is lock the foot out, so block the pronation and the associated foot growth that goes with it. And so quite often what we find is when we start correcting the foot inside the shoe, we create more space inside the shoe. How's the weight on your hands? High, medium or low?
Shall I take them off the handlebars?
Yeah, go give it a go.
Yeah.
Better than it was, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I thought it felt kind of equal before, now it feels pretty equal.
So it's getting progressively better, isn't it?
Yeah.
So 5mm reduction in crank length.
Wow.
It's another responsible comment, isn't it? 5mm means nothing.
So that's
there you go.
So that's 160 cranks now.
That's 160, yes.
Wow.
Which is a relatively inexpensive change to make on your bike because of SRAM's. It's one of the good things about SRAM's dub system is that it's just a modular crank arm, so we can just replace the arm. One of the first things that struck me, so this is our starting position, this is now, after we've reduced the reach quite a lot, we've brought the front end up a little bit, is that this hump in your back has sort of disappeared. Everything's a little bit softer.
Yeah.
Your ability to look ahead is improved. We can see your neck.
Yeah.
So quite a few changes.
Yeah. Definitely.
Unsurprisingly, it's more comfortable. We've also increased your stance, we've reduced your crank length. Now let's have a look at what happens when we change your shoes. These are 2 sizes smaller than what you're riding.
They're 42.
Yeah. Jesus. They're 42 and a half actually, but stand up again for me. Are you still going to front of them?
Magic. Not as much.
No.
Yeah.
So how you put your shoes on can influence how well your shoes fit. When you put your foot into a shoe, get your foot right into the back of it, do the lowest boa first, this is assuming you've got 2 boas in your shoes, and then do the upper. What that does is it stops your foot from sliding into the front of the shoe.
When I was driving it, I thought to myself, I feel good on the bike. Like, I don't really get any pains. Like, I'll be surprised if there's really much that's going to be changed. Like, I get that it's a smaller bike. Yes, it's aggressive. So maybe that would be it. But I thought in terms of position, I thought, well, I'm kind of comfy. I don't really have too many problems. I'll be all right. No. Probably still feel the left side slightly more than the right.
All right, jump up again for me. So instinctively, was that any worse or better?
It felt slightly better than the...
That was the wider one.
Right, okay.
The one that you've got.
That's one I've got.
Yeah. That's the 145.
I do find that the Burke seems to be a bit more comfy, like less interaction with everything, and
we're starting to find that as well. Jump off, put those on, and go for a spin on that. What's the first thing you notice?
I feel like that.
Right, feet are a lot closer together.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Go on, sorry.
Definitely stretched out.
Yeah. That right knee is
really
all over the shop. How's the saddle feel?
Solid.
We've worked out that with something like a Pinarello X, which is notoriously one of the best, tallest, shortest bikes on the market, you still have an 80mm stem on a 490, which is, to be honest with you, on a bike of that size with the 71-degree head angle, that's going to offer you decent handling characteristics. It'll only have 15mm of spacers, so it'll actually kind of still look quite good as well, with the facility or the capacity at least for you to modify it further with, as weight loss comes through, and you can take it lower and longer and all this kind of stuff. So it wouldn't necessarily render it null and void further down the line. You've got some future-proofing to it. I guess the question is, what are we going to do to this bike? Saddle height is basically the same. However, crank length is 10mm different. So effectively, we reduced your leg extension by a centimetre. But we suspected the saddle was a little bit on the high side in the first place anyway. So saddle height's come down a little bit. It's come forward a reasonable amount. These numbers are slightly muddy because we've taken you off of a Berkeley Pina, which is a short nose saddle, and put you onto a Pro Turnix, which is a longer conventionally nosed saddle, which is longer. So these numbers are slightly muddied, 6.8 to 2.6. But in terms of effective, we've brought the saddle forward about 15mm, which in turn will also reduce leg extension, but also improve your hip function, your ability to pass through the top of the stroke. The big ones are 8cm of handlebar drop reduction, and about a little bit less than that in reach, so about 5cm in reach. So some big changes there. At bar width ever so slightly wider, as we've already discussed. Crank length is narrower as well. We've also got you on a wider stance duo sheet, as you suspected. Yeah. There are cheaper ways of doing that, and I think it was interesting. That was the one thing that you noticed immediately as soon as you got onto this. So yeah, not necessarily the success story that we're looking for. Because we're going to have to make some reasonably large changes to this bike in order to get it remotely near where we want it to be. Obviously, shoes are different as well. So I don't want this channel to just be loads and loads of videos of me saying your bike doesn't fit you, go and buy something else. But it's an unfortunate reality, and we see it way more often than we would like, and it's got nothing to do with how we fit. It's to do with the industry and the way that the industry pitches bicycles, the way that they market bicycles, the way that they size bicycles. It's hugely dysfunctional.
What James had said about you'd be best off just getting a new bike, and when I show this episode to my fiance, there we go. We've got the.
It's documented.
Yeah, exactly.
The problem is you've got to ride this for about 6 weeks until that video comes out. Thank you, Mike, for coming, and thank you for watching and for tuning in. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, if you would like to book a bike fit with us, there is a link in the description below. See you for the next one.